Bougie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in. Francie Carline LaSelva. The new drug today is an itinerary.
Yeah, that's
Would
right.
you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
Friday night, St. Elmo's.
Love it.
Saturday at lunch, Harry and Izzy's.
Okay. I like it.
Saturday night, I'll be busy.
Watching a game.
Sunday night, Prime 47.
I like
Monday night, I'll be busy.
Yeah.
Want to come?
I'm ready.
Okay. In case you were wondering, the 2026 NCAA Final Four is in Indianapolis, and I'm now making plans. Okay.
As I think you should be.
Boogie Fland is going to Florida. I'm very excited about this development. I think he's a very good player. I think he's the one missing piece. And the only thing, how about this? If you've got Walter Clayton, who I think might be the greatest player in Gator history, and probably the second best shooter in Gator history. That's a best player, second best shooter. Would you come with me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Boogie Fland might be just like him. Now, we'll see. You got to do it first. So, I'm going to do it in about 18 minutes.
Talk to the best shooter?
I'm going to bring on the best shooter in Gator history. How about that? Is that a good idea?
That is a good idea.
Lee Humphrey's going to join us on the program at 4:20 today. A great shoot. By the way, Lee Humphrey, his last 2 years at Florida, he made 288 threes, by the way. Wow. His last 2 years, he shot 46% from three-point range.
It's incredible.
46%.
It's amazing.
This is a guy, and he made 200 of them. It's not like a guy that
Barely shot.
Right.
Yeah.
46%.
It's incredible.
He's one of the greatest shooters in college basketball history.
I've never had more confidence in a shooter than Lee Humphrey. When he released the ball, I was always shocked if it didn't go in.
Shocked. I mean, even when one of those rattle comes out, you're wondering how did it not go in. So,
and he was incredibly clutch. Obviously, Walter Clayton Jr. was probably the most clutch player in program history, and I would agree with you, the best. But the threes Lee Humphrey would make, I mean, both those Final Fours, I mean, coming out of the halftime,
that's what it was.
Buried threes to put those games away.
And for people that don't know, he is now the color commentator on the Gator Radio Network, lives in Jacksonville, and he's got a little basketball enterprise he started. He wants to talk about that a little bit, and we can't wait to help him share the word about that. But also I want him to talk about Boogie Fland and that what that run was like. What was it like for him, a guy that lived it and then was a commentator when it was happening again, 15 years later or whatever it was, 16 years. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, right?
And to see the jump.
18 years later, right?
Because he's been doing it for several years. Yeah. So not that the program was in any sort of disarray when, Mike White left to go to Georgia. They were a solid program. But to see it firsthand from Lee's vantage point of, going from that to Todd Golden in the build. Todd Golden, a game under 500 his first year, because they didn't have any talent, and the one good player they had got injured halfway through the year, and Colin Castleton. And then second year, you make the NCAA tournament, you become an elite offensive unit, but can't stop anybody, get knocked out in the first round. And then in your third year, you become top 10 efficiency on both ends of the court and win the national title, coming from behind several times to do so.
Right.
Incredible stuff.
It was a storybook season for sure. So we'll certainly, it'll be fun to catch up with Lee Humphrey, one of the great shooters of all time in college basketball. And for people that don't know, was the two guard on those back-to-back national championship teams in 06 and 07. And again, from the Gator Radio Network, he joins us in about 15 minutes or so. All kind of things going on in the world of sports, by the way. I wanted to get to this yesterday. The two major storylines in the NFL, at the NFL owner meetings, two big rules that I think might both get changed. One's the tush push, and now the Packers. I think it's the Packers. They have kind of rebuilt their proposal. Did you see the rebuild of it?
Of the tush push.
Of the tush push.
Yeah, just to ban all pushing and shoving.
All helping.
Yeah. Which was on the books until 2005.
Correct. You could not pull your running back or push him until that's exactly right. They want to go back to where the only thing you can do to aid the runner is block for him. And so that's interesting. And the seeding of the teams, which the Lions are now proposing, which says it doesn't affect which teams make the playoffs, but it will affect if it goes through, it'll affect the seeding of the team. And I think that's a good rule. I do not believe a 9-8 division champ should be seeded higher than an 11-6 wild card team. Agree or disagree?
No, I'd be fine with that. I wish it started right out of the gate. You know, I get it. We're the Jaguar viewpoint on this right now because they're in a weak division is, well, don't pass this rule because we want to be able to have a playoff game if we go 9-8. Well, this rule doesn't even apply. This amendment doesn't apply to that. It would be only in the second round, the divisional round, where then the reseeding would take place. But I'd be all for just going straight 1 through 7 on record and seeding them that way. And if you
I must have misunderstood. I thought that's what they were going to do.
I think initially they were, and then I think they've amended this to where the first round would be.
Then I got it wrong.
Would be the same.
I thought once the 7 were in, they were seeded by record. That's not correct.
I think they're going to do it after the wild card round.
Well, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would seed them. If it was me, I would. I mean, again, and listen, yeah, you're right. The Jaguars playing a weaker division, but for the good of the league and what's good and what's best for football, the teams that earn the higher seeds, you get the higher seeds. Just like college football is dealing with the same thing. They seed them 1 through 16 based on how good they are, not based on what conference or what division they're in. So I'd love to see. So we're going to certainly get to that. We're going to make a few points about that coming up. Here's another story that how the fact they were working on this got by me. That now, out of nowhere, and maybe it's not out of nowhere for you and others, but it is for me, out of nowhere, we're going to blink, and college football is going to have a CEO. There is going to be a chairman. There's going to be a college sports commission. If you don't join it, you're out. Did I miss a memo on this?
That was a blockbuster story last night by Ross Dellinger.
I mean, whoa.
The chaos.
So, it almost read like, hey, dummy, we've been working toward this. I've never heard a word of that.
No, I hadn't either, but there was a lot in that story about, you've got Tennessee passing state laws that allows their state institutions to get around the house settlement.
Right.
Like I always thought the house settlement, if it gets agreed to, if the judge, allows it, would sort of bring an end to a lot of the chaos. It's clear from Dellinger's reporting, it's not going to do anything.
Right.
Because these state legislatures are already passing laws that will protect their state schools and allow their state schools to violate the house settlement without any risk of being punished. And that's where now you're seeing these big conferences say, well, look, if you're going to do this, then we may not allow you to still be a member.
Yeah.
Imagine, again, the extreme example is would the SEC expel the Tennessee Volunteers over a reluctance to basically play by the settlement? It's fascinating. And again, I thought the settlement would kind of end a lot of the legal battle. It will basically do nothing to stabilize the sport.
And the fact that the 4 conference commissioners are in lockstep. They haven't been in lockstep on anything in forever. And now all of a sudden the 4 conference commissioners are saying, we're going to make you, if the story is true and if it happens, the house settlement's got to happen first, that we are going to make you sign an agreement to not sue. Boy, that'll be fun with sports and courts.
Right.
Make you sign an agreement to not sue and to abide by these rules, including the enforcement of those, which means the punitive action. And if you don't, you are going to get kicked out of your conference. Can you imagine?
No.
You could also the other side of that is, well, why doesn't FSU and Clemson just not sign it so they will get kicked out of the conference because that's what they want? Well, now the other 3 have made it clear they're not taking them.
Right.
Now the last thing
you
you need,
conference
now more than ever, because if these 4 are in lockstep, it doesn't do Clemson or FSU any good to no longer be in it. What a massive reversal of everything we've followed. And by the way, I like it. They got to pull it off, and there's going to be a lot of, to your point, a lot of sidebars that have to happen correctly. But I like the fact that the conference commissioner said this is enough. We need to now be like the pro sports teams and have a league with rules. I like that.
I do too. My fear is that it's just not going to be enforceable. If your state government has given you a license to not have to abide by any agreement, I don't think I don't think you're going to be bound by it. I think if to sign something that says you will never sue us for making a ruling you disagree with, I would imagine, and this report kind of speaks to that's going to be very hard to legally hold up. I hate to say it because we've talked about at length how Major League Baseball is the worst run sport from a competitive standpoint of all the major professional sports in this country. I'm not 100% sure now if this thing isn't going to end with, you guys pay him whatever you want.
Yeah.
You guys pay him whatever you want. If you want to spend $100 million on your football team, do it, because we legally cannot confine it. And it's a real shame, but I think whatever guardrails they're trying to put in place, whatever foundation they're trying to lay, there is massive legal vulnerability to that, and it will be exploited.
Yeah, and so a lot of storylines. It'd be fun to have Brett in here tomorrow to talk about kind of the details of it. So it's going to be an awful lot of fun to follow. So we're certainly looking forward to that. All kind of things. We're going to talk about where the college sports are headed because of it. We're going to weigh in on that. I'm going to. You are too. The NFL, two main storylines. Cam Ward and Will Levis are going to split reps. Should we tell them how that went? Should we?
Urban Meyer coaching the Titans?
I was just going to say, should we give him advice or just let it go?
I mean,
should just let it play out.
Yeah, it just speaks to, Callahan just seems to be, really not ready for this. And again, you take Cam Ward one, and I'm not even putting it all on Will Levis. I mean, they had a lot of issues last year. They couldn't protect. I mean, they don't have great weapons. But if you take a guy number one overall, he's going to be your starter. So it's silly to give Will Levis reps with ones at any point. Now, it's OTAs, so, it's not quite as critical as doing it, 17 days into training camp. But yeah, it's a mistake. It should be Cam Ward's team. You look at the teams that have acclimated rookies really well. C.J. Stroud was phenomenal his rookie year. He was named the week one starter immediately. I mean, I think D'Amico Ryans named him before they went to OTAs.
Right.
It was definitely before they reported for training camp. And so it's clear, and it allows everybody to gravitate around the rookie, and it allows the rookie what the rookie needs most, which is reps. So it's a mistake. I don't know how long Callahan will go with this for, but it's Cam Ward's team.
Yeah, there's no question about it. All right, we'll start with some basketball. Boogie Fland is in the fold. We'll talk more about him as the show goes on. But after this timeout, let's say hello to Lee Humphrey, the great, great shooter, now a broadcaster on the Gator Radio Network. He's got a lot of things to talk about, and we'll ask him about Boogie, this great run the Gators made, that and a whole lot more. Comes up after this. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
You can listen to 1010XL on your smart speaker.
Alexa, play 1010XL.
In fact, any speaker that plays 1010XL
1010XL
is pretty smart.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Did you know that mosquito bites could lead to heartworms for your dog or cat? When mosquitoes show up, pet parents want them gone. Terminix takes mosquitoes down fast, just like they did at my house for our pup. Terminix knows that pets are part of the family. They do what it takes to help protect them. When mosquitoes show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a mosquito problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
It's a magical phone line.
Check this out.
It brings you things you can't get anywhere else, like insider insight from sports experts. Listen for the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Check. Every day on 1010XL.
Attention poker enthusiasts, get ready for unbeatable action at Best Bet with locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. Dive into the excitement with $500 high hands every Friday and $1,000 high hands every Saturday. And save the dates for May's table game giveaways. $300 every 20 minutes on select Fridays and Saturdays. Want in on the action? Visit bestbetjacks.com for all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at zeroresjacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. From now until May 28th, we're holding our big diamond sale, and now's the best time to buy a quality diamond of a carat or more. Here are a few reasons. First, there's severe upward pressure on rough diamonds, with 4 price increases already this year. Most of this has yet to hit the polished market, so they're diamonds for sale at the old prices. Next, our diamond cutters asked us to house their inventories of existing big diamonds so we could sell them here prior to them being offered to the jewelry trade in Las Vegas. This allows us the ability to sell from their vast stock at brokerage prices you have to see to believe. All of these diamonds are graded for cut, color, and clarity with independent laboratory grading reports. Now, along with this vast collection of big diamonds, we put all of our own meticulously selected loose diamonds and engagement-style rings on sale at prices from 3% to 25% off. We also take trade-ins, but remember, this sale ends May 28th at Underwood San Marco, Avondale, and the Shops of Ponte Vedra.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry-fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Beaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
All right, we welcome you back to the program. Frank Frangie along with Hayes Carline. The Gators made an amazing run. They won a national championship for the 3rd time. The best shooter in school history was on those first 2 championship teams, and he joins us now, Lee Humphrey. Lee, great to have you on, man. How are you?
Doing well, Frank. Thanks for having me. And how fun was that Gator basketball season?
Oh, my goodness. And you had the best view in the world, man. For people that don't know, Lee is on that broadcast team, and along with Sean Kelly. What was it like? I mean, obviously, you lived it now. You lived it yourself and had a big part in winning 2 of those. So you had a better vantage point than the rest of it. What was it like? What was special about this group?
You know, Frank, watching this team I felt like I was almost on the floor playing with my team. Right there on the sidelines, you could see all year how much joy they had playing together with each other as a team. I mean, it was a true team. Nobody cared who stepped up that night. A lot of guys had big moments throughout the year, and the team just looked like they were having fun playing together, and it made it a joy to watch. I mean, when the second half came around in games and we started making runs, I could hardly sit in my seat.
Hey, Lee, it's Hayes Carline. Great to talk with you. Give us your take of Todd Golden and what makes him such a special in-game coach.
So this year, I think, it's a great point because I don't think I've ever seen a team, probably even ours, make the adjustments and real-time decisions that the team would make. I mean, all year so during 4 media timeouts, I get to go over, I get to watch, I cover the timeout, I report back on the play. And almost every timeout, I'm walking back to my seat beside Sean, and I'm thinking, oh, we're scoring on this play. And almost every time out of the timeouts, we're scoring. It was unbelievable. And I don't know, Todd has got a great feel for modern basketball. They play a super free-flowing game, but he's got a real knack for identifying a player's weakness or a tendency from another team and taking advantage of it in a specific moment. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Lee Humphrey with us from the Gator Radio Network, and of course, the shooter on those two great championship teams. Lee, and I believe this. There's obviously they defended this year. Nobody plays with the back to the basket anymore, but you still have to have big guys. But I think shooting matters more than ever. I thought that if you count Condon, who made some, the Gators had 7 guys, I thought, that made impact threes this year. Isn't that where we are in the game? I mean, if you can't shoot threes, you got to do the other stuff. I get it. But don't you have to shoot threes to win in today's college basketball?
I think so. You've got to shoot threes. If you watch the NBA, they make a ton of threes. Todd coaches a pretty similar style to NBA teams. I think that's one reason why it's attractive to a lot of young guys. They know they're going into a good system and he can prep them. But you got to hit threes. We had a ton of different guys make them. But not only that, you've also got to be able to dribble and pass. I mean, our bigs, we got the whole front court back. Hopefully we get Alex coming back and we have everyone back. But, Alex, Tommy out there especially, I mean, they're like point guards at the 4 spot when they've got the ball, which is also really important.
Lee, what would be your advice if Condon comes back? The guys that hand-logged in Chinlelu, if they were to seek your advice on, how were you guys able to repeat? It's one thing to have incredible talent, but to keep that cohesiveness and keep that hunger, what would be your advice to the next season's Gators?
There's going to be a lot of distractions. I think you got to go into the season on a blank slate. I mean, it's a new season. Whatever you accomplished in the last season, it's gone. And you're not going to be able to get to the top the same way you got it there the year before. It's going to be a different road. You may have some injuries here and there. You're going to play a different schedule. The team dynamics are going to be different. We're losing our 3 starting guards. We've got some great ones coming in to replace them. So they've got to approach it as a new year. They're going to have their target on their back, but you got to embrace it too. I always thought road games were more fun than home games almost, because there's nothing like going into an opponent's gym and really taking it to them.
Lee Humphrey with us talking about the Gator basketball team. So Todd Golden has suggested Houck is going to play the 3 next year. Can he defend out there, Lee? Obviously he can shoot and he can handle and he can face the basket, but he's 6'9" and some change. Can he defend a small forward or a team with a 3-guard offense?
I think so. I'm super confident he can defend at the 3 because the way they play defense, they switch a lot anyway.
Yeah.
They switch a lot throughout the year. That's kind of almost their standard pick-and-roll defense, and screening defense is the switch. So he's had a lot of practice on smaller, quicker guys, and he just plays so hard. I mean, one of Tommy's biggest strengths is his motor, and he'd come in off the bench, and you knew what you're going to get out of Tommy. Seemed like first or second possession that he's in, he's getting a big rebound. So he's got the motor to guard the guys and still rebound and play in transition.
In terms of this backcourt, these new additions, what's sort of your vantage point on what Lee is bringing and Fland is bringing to the backcourt?
Well, they're big pickups because, I mean, our guards were so great last year. Walter Clayton, I don't think I've seen more clutch shots from a guy than Walter hit during the NCAA tournament. He was clutch all year, but we hardly ever played from behind in the regular season. We were basically crushing everyone. And then we had to come back in almost every NCAA tournament game. And each clutch shot, fortunately for me, it felt like it was right in front of me on my seat. So that was pretty fun. So replacing those guys was big. And Boogie Flan, he can create. He can score off the dribble. He was only a freshman last year. And Damian Lee also was a good scorer. He's big at 6'4". Both guys can rebound, and they both really pass. I think both averaged over 5 assists per game and really good assist-to-turnover numbers too. So I think they'll be great.
When Lee Humphrey says somebody makes clutch shots, that's pretty good praise. If people saw the you come out of the half at those games in Atlanta and Indianapolis, I don't know that I saw more of a clutch shooter. And I mean, that's very sincerely, Lee. So I'm going to pass along to Walter Clayton that Lee Humphrey just said that. So that is big. That's big stuff. Hey, tell me about what's going on in Jacksonville. Now, you live here. For people that don't know, Lee lives here in Jacksonville with us now. And you're involved in the basketball community with your academy, with other things you're doing. Catch us up on kind of where you're headed here.
Sure. So living in Jacksonville, been here about 10 years. Absolutely love it. I kind of call myself a Jacksonville salesman on the side. I like to make a good pitch for Jacksonville, but I've got 3 boys. The oldest is going into 5th grade next year. The youngest into 1st, and the middle one's going into 3rd. We're launching a basketball academy at their school, Cornerstone Classical Academy. It's on St. John's Bluff.
Okay.
And there's what a better time to launch. After a Gator championship, it's in the summer. It's a good time to get into basketball. We've got a brand new facility, so 2 gyms, 12 baskets. I don't know of another place like it in Jacksonville, so we're going to be able to do a lot of great programming.
All right, so you already had your own academy, right? I mean, didn't you have an academy of some sort that wasn't school related, or am I wrong about that?
Well, it's not. I'm in partnership with the school.
Okay, I got
so
you.
it's not exclusive to the school. It's open to the community, and really, I want to create something different, something unique. I mean, there's a lot of basketball options out there.
Yeah.
But my dad was a middle school basketball coach.
Okay.
I had a key to the gym. I was in there every night, and I was on the weekends calling my buddies in a phone book to say, hey, who can come up to the gym and meet and play some pickup? So there's a lot of options out there for basketball now, but there's, it's a lot of individual instruction. It's a lot of games and kind of travel in AAU formats. And what I feel like is missing, because I can see it in my boys too, is kids just don't. It's not like it was when we were kids. They don't play enough. So we want it to be super fun. We want the kids, when they leave the gym, to be begging to come back. It's going to be play-based, so we'll teach a lot. You'll learn to play the game, but it'll be all through games. It'll be a lot of fun. And we're starting a 3-on-3 league that's full court on the short courts.
All right.
So there's a ton of opportunity to have the ball. Especially when you're an elementary school kid, it's important to have the ball, have a chance to take some risk, make a mistake, rally around your teammates. So that's the kind of environment we want to create.
Lee, how do people find out more about it? Is there a website they go to, a number they call? How do people find? Because that sounds like cool stuff for an aspiring basketball player. How do they find out more?
You can go to LeeHumphreyBasketball.com.
Okay.
Website's been up for a few weeks. We've got our first league starting June 16th, the week of June 16th. And we've got a camp the week of June 23rd. That 3-on-3 league it's a 6-week commitment, so not a big commitment. And we've also got something that I'm really excited about. It's called Just Play Saturdays.
Okay.
So it's pick up for kids. We're going to limit the age group to rising 8th graders so that they've got 4 courts to play on and don't have to worry about adults coming in, pushing them off the court. And we'll be there to provide some instruction, too. So be a lot of free play, but it'll also be a lot of instruction.
All right, LeeHumphreyBasketball.com. I will tell you, I'll close with this. I was with Ryan Thomas from Impact Christian a week ago, and we were just talking about basketball, and out of nowhere he says, Lee can still really shoot it. So is that true? I'm trying to get that confirmed, Lee. Can you still? Brian Thomas says you can still. He said there's some back stuff going on, Hayes, so he doesn't run the floor like he once did, but he can really shoot it. True or false? That's what I need to know.
I'm very good from three-point line to three-point line, and I'll just say I'm a little more hot and cold than I used to be, but I can still find a good hot streak.
Lee Humphrey from the Gator Radio Network, and, of course, the outstanding shooter on those 2 back-to-back title teams. Hey, look, it was a great run for all of us Gators, Lee. It really was. It was a lot of fun. It was fun listening to you and Sean. Please say hello to my buddy Sean Kelly when you see him. We enjoy listening to you, and good luck on the academy, man. We appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Hayes. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, Lee Humphrey, the great Gator shooter from years gone by. Again, he's proud of the academy, and he should be. You can imagine how much fun that thing would be.
Oh yeah,
can't you imagine? I mean, you really should sign up. That's the website, LeeHumphreyBasketball.com. Go sign up, and you'll be taught by one of the best shooters, and I mean that sincerely, one of the best shooters any of us have ever seen. I mean, really, in our lifetime, one of the best shooters that we've ever seen. So, good luck, Leah, on the academy and what he's going to do moving forward. We'll take a break. I want to stay on that for a second. When we come back, who is Boogie Fland? You heard Lee talk about him. He knows better than we do. What is he bringing? How important is this? Lee made a great point. You asked a great question. How do you repeat? Because now everybody's gunning for you. When Florida won the first one in 2006, they started the season unranked. And they weren't ranked until they got to where 16-0, remember that, or 7. And then all of a sudden, by midseason, people figured out, oh boy, these guys are pretty good, right?
And they were still just a 3 seed,
right. And then the next
which
year,
is a good seed,
yeah, but they weren't one of
they weren't a 1.
That's right. And the next year is when all the pressure and all the expectations and there is the target on your back, and you're the team everybody's trying to beat. And so it's good stuff. We'll talk about Boogie Fland and some other stuff coming up. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Things you never hear Dan and Jeff say.
Sorry, guys. I'll let you down.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser are The Drill.
I'm nothing but a big phony.
Mornings on 1010XL.
And you are not the raving psychopath I originally thought that you were.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Mosquito season is upon us, but don't let them take over. The secret to a bite-free yard is starting today with Kingfish Pest Control. Their 3-step mosquito defense process stops them before they can spread. Eliminate breeding areas. Build a protective barrier around your yard and monthly treatments to keep them away all season long. The earlier you start, the fewer mosquitoes you'll have to fight. Don't let those pests ruin your outdoor fun. Call Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Looking for that designer engagement ring like Tacori or Viraggio? Then hear this. The only locally owned authorized dealer here for these exquisite rings is Beard's Diamonds. Beard's is your destination for the top names in bridal design. Tacori, Viraggio, Sylvie, Gabriel & Company, Gnome Carver, and more. If she's seen it on Pinterest or in a bridal magazine, Beard's has it. Exquisite, handcrafted, and made in America. So you can get her the ring of her dreams without having to go to one of those national mega chain jewelers. At Beard's, there's no big company rules, no Wall Street sales goals, no impersonal service. The non-commissioned experts at Beard's Diamonds will take their time and let you see dozens of ring styles from all the most sought-after designers. Beard's is proud to be Jacksonville's premier jeweler for nearly 45 years. We're committed to this area and promise an authentic, refined, and risk-free experience. Without markups, without pricing games, without corporate red tape getting in the way of making you happy. Beard's Diamonds, Jacksonville's diamond store. At the shops at St. John's Town Center.
On Memorial Day, all of us at Harold and Harold join you and our community to pause and remember the sacrifice that fallen heroes made for this country and honor them for all they have given us. Offices, Jacksonville. An out-of-town lawyer could rent space and say they have an office here, but how does that help you after an accident? Harold and Harold is here for nearly 40 years, and we have the local relationships you need if you've been injured. Call Harold and Harold today. Offices, Jacksonville.
Where does Northeast Florida buy cars? Arlington Toyota. Mia here, and why Arlington? Selection. Arlington has over 800 new and used vehicles all in one location with everyday low prices. Plus right now, save big with 0 down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2023 Toyota Corolla. Or how about no payments till January 2026 and 60-day exchange. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
I'm Max Fink, and I'm your Gator updater. Listen for the Gator Report several times a week on 1010XL.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator! Okay, here we go with our final lightning round on Potty Talk. Top 3 answers on the board. Ready? Okay. The best way to save money when your faucets or pipes are leaking.
Roland Reese Plumbing?
Something to help you avoid clogged sewers and drains.
Roland Reese Plumbing.
The technical term for that ba-whoosh sound when a toilet flushes correctly.
Roland Reese Plumbing.
Roland Reese Plumbing is always the right answer. Roland Reese Plumbing, 260-7059.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, COYLE, jacks.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at goosehead.com.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Old City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, JJ LaSelva with you. We do want to thank our friends from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cassett Avenue. Nimnick Buick GMC is over here on Phillips Highway. Been buying my cars there since the early 80s, and I'm not changing anytime soon. Great people, great Jacksonville people, man. They care about our city and are involved in sports in our city and travel to watch the teams play. And those Nimnicks are real, man. That's a real name for real folks. Head to see them, man. I'm proud to be the spokesman for the Nimnick family dealerships. I mean that very seriously and have been for a long, long time. All right. So, and the Nimnicks, those Nimnicks were on the road watching the Gators in that Final Four. They were in San Antonio. I can tell you that. So, all right. Boogie Flan comes in. How good is Boogie Flan? He was hurt for part of his freshman season. He's from the Bronx. He's a 6'2", 6'3" combo guard. They played a lot of point guard, as did Xavier Lee, so they can both handle and pass. He committed to Kentucky when John Calipari was the coach there. A 5-star. He played in the McDonald's All-American game. So he's one of the big-time recruits. Obviously a top 10, 15 player in the country, somewhere thereabouts. He committed to Kentucky until Calipari left and went to Arkansas. At that point, he decommitted from Kentucky and followed Cal to Arkansas. Played for a while, got hurt, came back, missed a good bit of the season. I say a good bit. He missed part of the season. But here are his numbers when he did play. 32 minutes a game, so he's certainly durable. 13.5 points per game. 5 assists a game. So obviously he's a very good passer. 83% free throw shooter. Don't underestimate the importance of that stat, because without that stat, the Gators don't win the national title. They won the national title in large part because Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin, and Will Richard made every free throw they needed to make in the postseason. Think about that. Houck missed a couple in one of the games. Aberdeen missed the one at the end of the championship game. But I don't remember Martin, Richard, or Clayton missing a free throw of significance. Do you?
They didn't miss it.
They didn't.
They missed free throws, but they never missed them in a time where it would have cost Florida the game.
They didn't, and including the two that Martin made that were the game winners against Houston. And so I mean, don't underestimate when you. One of the first things I look at is one of these portal guys come to a school is free throw percentage. He was an 83% free throw shooter. The only where his numbers were down is a 3-point. He was a 34% shooter from 3-point range. But you get the drill. To Lee Humphrey's point, he made it a moment ago. A big physical 6'2", 6'3" guard. He can rebound. He's going to be paired with Xavier Lee, who's a 6'4" guard, who is a very good rebounder, averaged 5 or 6 a game. So when they got Flan today, not just Gator Nation was thrilled, but when this was the big fish for them. All of a sudden, see, Florida wins the national championship. And the next thing you know, they're in all the too earlies, they're 19th. And we're thinking, what in the world? They just won the national title, and they're going to return a great front court. But the theory was, okay, all 3 guards are gone. Condon's in the NBA for now. Chinyulu's testing the waters. There's too much uncertainty. Okay, well, Chinyulu's back, all right?
The guy that had them 19th, the ESPN guy, Jeff Borzello.
Is that what it was?
Did his projected starting lineup for all the – he had Urban Klavzar as the starting two.
Okay, is that right? I didn't know that. But you get the point.
Finger on the pulse.
Yeah, right. Good point. But now all of a sudden Xavier Lee's coming. Now all of a sudden people are paying more attention. Now Chinyulu comes back. Now the whispers are that Condon's coming back, even though he hasn't announced yet he may not. And then Boogie Flan gets in the mix. I think this was the big fish that all the Jeff Goodmans and Rothsteins of the world needed to see happen. I now think when this happened, Florida now is at the forefront of the college basketball world again. They'll be ranked in the top 4, particularly if Condon comes back, top 4 or 5 to start the season. They play all the big televised games. They got Arizona to start the season. They got this game, that game.
I think they've got UConn.
They have UConn early too. This was the move that has the Rothsteins and the Goodmans and the Matt Norlanders and the people that talk about college basketball nationally. This is the one that said, okay, they're now the team to beat. I don't believe that was the consensus until now. And now the consensus with Boogie Flan going there, in addition to everything else, is if they're not the team to beat, they're certainly in that group of 2 or 3. That's what I think this did. For better or worse, if that target wasn't squarely on their back beforehand, this one puts it squarely on their back. They now are the hunted well more than they were even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for some reason, the Florida basketball logo doesn't have a lot of gravitas to it when it comes to the national writers. It just never has. And anytime Florida has success in basketball, it's almost viewed nationally as a fluke. And I think that was sort of the vibe coming off of the national championship from the media was, well, this was kind of a fluke. They had to come from behind. To their credit, they were able to do that. But now they're losing the one player that really brought them back countless times in Walter Clayton Jr. They are losing 2 other outstanding guards, and this was a fluke, and they'll take a pretty significant step back. But what he has done, what Todd Golden has done in the portal it's unthinkable, because I think on paper you can make an argument they might be better. I mean, obviously they're better in the front court because they're all older. If Condon comes back.
And they're all back. Right.
Correct. And then to lose what they've lost in terms of Clayton, Martin, and Richard, but get Fland and Lee, and then the freshmen that they have coming in, A.J. Brown, who was probably pretty comparable to Will Richard. I mean, on paper, if they get Alex Condon back, how could you vote them anything but preseason number 1? I mean, we saw Houston. I mean, and they're a really good team, but I don't view Houston as in St. John's is, oh my gosh, they've got to be number 1. I mean, I just, so if, again, with Fland in the fold, if Condon does return to school, and my guess is that he probably does, how could they be anything but preseason number 1? Not that it really matters, I mean, but it's just, it almost to me would be stupefying to vote for somebody besides Florida when they have all that talent returning.
To your point about even better, it'd be hard to be better. They won the title. It'd be hard to have a better team, better chemistry, better flow, better way to connect with each other, connect with their fan base. I mean, they won the national championship. But to your point, they did not. They had Clayton, who looked like a borderline NBA guy until probably the last third of the season when everybody said, okay, shame on us. He's an absolute NBA guy. He's an absolute first rounder. I even saw him in a mock the other day, 13 or 14, even though I think most mocks have him in the 20s. Okay, but nobody thinks Elijah Martin or Will Richard are or NBA players. Elijah Martin helped himself a great deal because he's athletic, but there's nobody thinking that trio was NBA guys. Clayton found his way into the first round. It looks like Richard and Martin probably aren't going to play in the league. Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan are NBA players. That's the difference. They look like NBA players. So you go from one guy who went from now of your three, one guy now is probably going to be an NBA player. Well, you have two guards now. That's the theory. And to your other point, the front court gets better because they're all coming back. The other side of that is it is real, to Lee Humphrey's point, and he was very, very transparent about it. He knows, nobody would know better. It is really hard to repeat because everybody's gunning for you. Listen, there's only 3 teams that have done it since the 80s. Duke, Florida, and UConn. And since the 80s. Okay, where were you in the 80s if you're listening right now? Because only 3 teams, we're in 2025. That means the 90s have passed and the 2000s have passed and the 2010s have passed. We're halfway through the 25s or the 20s. And only 3 teams have repeated. Duke in the early 90s, Florida in 06, 07, and UConn up until this past year. It's hard as hell to repeat. And because everybody's gunning for you. And so that's the question, that amazing chemistry they created, that amazing bond they had, how amazingly clutch they were. Can this team do all that? But here's my take on that. The season will tell you that. What you want to do is go into the season with enough players that you have a chance to do it. And that's where they are. Who knows if they'll do it? But now with Fland, if he's and Xavier Lee, I'm going to say, is he as good as advertised? We don't know. Fland, I do kind of know. I watched him enough. You know, when he came back from the injury, he's pretty good now. I mean, he was pretty doggone good.
He was averaging 15 points a game and nearly 6 assists a game prior to the hand injury.
Yeah.
Which was their 3rd conference game. So, I mean, he played a significant amount of games prior to the injury, and then he missed a couple of months, and then they brought him back in a reserve role because they had to have him.
Right.
I mean, Arkansas obviously was making a late season push and did well. Obviously had a lead against Texas Tech in the Sweet 16 and almost pulled the upset, and then Texas Tech pulled off an incredible comeback. So his numbers were dragged down because, he only played 9 minutes in the Texas Tech loss. He played 20 minutes in the St. John's win. He played 24 minutes in the win over Kansas. Well, had he been healthy, he'd been playing 36 minutes in all 3 of those games. So his numbers are kind of brought down a little bit by coming back in a reserve role from the injury. But, I mean, if he gives Florida 15 and 6 assists next year, they will win 30 games. I mean, will they win the national title? Will they win 34 games? Yeah, I mean, that's obviously it's as high a bar as you can set. But if they get that out of Boogie Flandon, they will, because Todd Golden is a much better coach than John Calipari is. I mean, it could be frightening what they could be. I think they can be more versatile offensively with this group. I think they've got better vision in terms of passers. This group potentially. And so, but again, there is a litany of other stuff that they're going to have to combat. The expectations, do they get along as well? Do they have somebody like an Elijah Martin who can be that just tenacious leader? Do they have that? Will Richard had obviously seen it all, was very invested in the program. You worry about that with portal guys. Are they going to be deeply invested into this? So Elijah Martin was. He was at Florida 1 year, and he leaves with a tremendous Gators legacy. But that is a variable. But on paper, this team, I think, could give the team that just won the title a heck of a fight.
And I think you hit a lot of things there that have to go right. The talent's there, the right coaches there, players who have in the front court who have won it are there. The biggest question will be, how does that whole chemistry thing work? Because that's real. Those three guards really worked well together. Nobody was stingy. They I think sometimes some of the worst turnovers, they passed too much.
Right.
They overpassed. But that's a great culture thing. It may cause you more turnovers than you want until you find a rhythm, but it's a great culture thing to have a team that overpasses sometimes. And I thought that team, Clayton and Richard and Elijah Martin, were really good buddies. They were all about the same age. They hung out together. There was a bond there. Will Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland have that bond? You don't know, and A.J. Brown, if he's the third guy. You don't know that they won't, but will it work as famously? I will say Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland are both used to having the ball in their hand. I think if there's one thing that Walter Clayton Jr. was the point guard, but he wasn't a ball-dominant point guard. He was the guy that got the ball out of his hand. Zion Pullen the year before was always having the ball, always dribbling the ball. So Andrew Nebhart was a ball-dominant point guard. Trey Mann was a run-down-and-shoot at point guard. So there's different kinds of guys. It'll be interesting to see. So the chemistry's got to work. Two kind of point guard combo guards have to work together in the backcourt. Who brings the ball up court? Does Todd have different plays for different guys to bring it up? So there's a lot of factors. But I'll say it again, I'd rather have all the good players and hope the chemistry works out than have not good players and need the chemistry to work.
Well, and again, they were plus 8.6 rebounding last season and winning the national championship, which ranked very high. You got to think that number is, again, particularly if they get Condon back, but even if they don't get Condon back, with Chinley, Lou, Handlogged, and Hauk, they should be a very good rebounding team again. So what is that? That's second chances for players like Lee and Fland to get that additional shot in a possession. And that's what makes Florida just tremendously difficult to beat, is even when they miss the first one, there's a good chance they're going to get the offensive rebound and kick it out to a wide open three.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be really, really difficult for any team to defend. And again, then that's the other variable. How well will this group defend together? Because, last year's team, they took a huge step. I mean, they were top 10 in the nation in defensive efficiency. So they were as elite as they were offensively. They were every bit as that on the other side of the court. And look, we saw that up close and personal. Houston doesn't even get a shot off to settle the national championship.
We'll take a break. Let's get into some football. We come back. Some NFL rules are being discussed, and college football might have a czar to run the whole thing. All that's coming up. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Jaguars and Gators, pro, college, and high school sports. Wow! Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
Hey, it's Hayes Carline. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free. It's fantastic. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. South State has helped our businesses and charity grow and thrive. Whether you're expanding your operations, managing cash flow, or planning for the future, South State Bank offers forward-thinking, tailored solutions to meet your unique business needs. With expert guidance and best-in-class service, South State is here to help you move your business forward. Visit southstatebank.com or stop by your local branch today. Let South State become your partner in taking your business to the next level. That's South State Bank, member FDIC.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me, if you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Got a leaky faucet? AC blowing hot air? No worries. Duck Rooter has your back. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, AC, and a whole lot of quacking good service.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman. We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. Have you been charged with a crime? You don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW in the 904.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through May 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hacker here, and let's talk sincerity. You know, there's a big difference between someone tossing you a casual, hey, how you doing, and genuinely asking, no, really, how are you doing? At Awaken 180, I felt that sincerity every single week while dropping 122 pounds, and I still feel it every month in free maintenance for life. Sure, seeing that number plunge on the scale was incredible, but what truly pushed me across the goal line? My amazing Awaken 180 coaches. They coached me up like I was prepping for draft day, always in my corner, sincerely invested in my success, and check this out. I'm going on a cruise in a couple of weeks, complete with formal night. Now, normally, cameras and I have a strained relationship. I hated taking pictures, but thanks to Awaken 180, the camera and I have made peace. No more ducking photos. Want results you can actually keep? Do what we all did and call 844-346-1800 or book online at awaken180weightloss.com.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your pool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Duck Rooter Septic, Air, and Plumbing. Florida Panthers will face off with the Carolina Hurricanes tonight for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, the second time the two teams have squared off in the Eastern Conference Final in the last 3 seasons. Panthers forward Sasha Barkov reflected on his team's battles with the Hurricanes in the past as they hope to repeat the series outcome from 2023 to reach their 3rd consecutive Stanley Cup final.
I mean, they're two years more experience with their style. So I remember every single game against them for past many years have been really tough. So it's really hard to play against these guys, and they know it and we know it. So it's going to be a really fun, hard series. So we're really looking forward to that.
Puck drop for tonight's game is at 8 o'clock. It's 93 degrees at 5:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Thanks to our friends at the Nimnick Family Dealerships. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cassett. Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. The best cars, the best American-made cars. Chevrolets and Buicks and GMCs. And yeah, people that will treat you right. Jacksonville people that have done it for a long time. Head to Nimnick today. You'll be glad you did. Those two great locations. Today we had our Walk-Off Charities annual board meeting. And a lot of our board members, a few couldn't make it, but for the most part, our board member was all there. We went through kind of our year in review, and we have a wonderful board and wonderful supporters. But for the first time, we had our meeting at the ballpark, at the
new
ViStar
offices.
Ballpark. Gosh, it's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
I mean, it is absolutely. If you have not been to see the Jumbo Shrimp play, they've got a homestand coming up right now. It is absolutely gorgeous. You know what I'm going to do? I'm giving someone a chance to go. Since we had that today.
Yeah.
JJ, can you find me 2 tickets?
I can. I do. I have a pair of voucher tickets to the Jumbo Shrimp, and this week they are playing at home at the ViStar Ballpark against the Memphis Redbirds.
Yeah, so there you go.
So I got a pair of tickets right now, 641-1010.
All right, caller number whatever you want.
5.
Caller 5 at 641-1010, and it's a gorgeous ballpark. Thanks to Harold Croft, the Jumbo Shrimp general manager and one of our board members, by the way, for hosting us. I said he set the bar high. Whoever hosts next time, the bar is up there. So thank you to Harold for hosting us today. We certainly enjoyed our trip down to the ballpark. All right, let's start with the NFL. Do you care about the tush push? Do you care? You have an opinion?
I didn't like if they were only going to go after that play, but my suggestion was what they're doing, which is expand it and make it, take the revision off the books that you've had on there since 2005. You shouldn't be able to push and shove the runner.
Or pull.
That's been a basic tenet of football forever. And it was interesting because I was listening to, this was a couple months ago, but Rich McKay, the competition committee, executive, was talking about why initially did they take the rule out. And he said that in 20 years ago, officials were complaining it was hard for them to officiate it, because it was hard for them to determine an offensive lineman pushing or something like that. So because it was hard for them to legislate it on the field, they just got rid of the rule.
Right.
And then really never, I think, thinking that a team would then take it to the extreme that the Eagles have by turning it into basically a rugby scrum. So I don't like going after a singular play, which is what I think what they've done here is smart. They've gone ahead and just said, well, let's go back to the old way where you just simply cannot push the runner.
Yeah.
And I do like that, because to me that is more the essence of the game as opposed to what we have now.
So I like it too. And your description of what the rule is now is you can't pull the runner. You can only aid the runner by blocking for him. That's the actually wording of the proposal. And I agree with you that I think it makes sense. But I could have, and now you're more comprehensive and cohesive, and you're not picking on one group, one play. So you're right. What you said is correct. But for me, I could have lived with the other stuff. I was tired of the tush push. I got to where it was boring. It was effective, so why not do it? If it's within the rules and effective, why would you not do it? I'm not criticizing anyone for doing it. The Eagles, they went to back-to-back Super Bowls with it and won a Super Bowl because of it. They went to 2 Super Bowls and won a Super Bowl because of it. So give them credit for that. And I credit them for within the rules finding a way to win the game. But I got tired of it. It was automatic. It wasn't good football to me. It wasn't, and I'm glad. I mean, sometimes you can say, well, it's the defense's job to stop it. Well, it is, and until nobody can stop it, and then the game's not as competitive anymore. They got rid of the shift in baseball because the game wasn't as fun, and so I'm glad. I hope it goes through. Before I didn't have a real opinion on it, but over and over, watching it again and again and again, I've seen enough of the tush push. Let's run real football plays. So I hope that. The other rule, and we talked about this at the top a little bit, and you clarified it for me. I had a misunderstanding of it. I'm going to go back to my misunderstanding is what they should do. In my opinion, the rule that the Lions want to move forward is that your seeding is based on your record, not whether or not you won a division. The winning a division gets you into the tournament, and it always should and always will, but it shouldn't get you seated ahead of a team that has a better record. Now, you told me they're still going to be seated ahead of that team for round one, and then if we get to round two, it'll be the side of the home team will be the higher seed. The team with the better record will be the home team, and thus the higher seed. But in my mind, and I think you said this too, once the tournament field's set, have the same 14 teams in, the same 7 from each conference, and then seed them by their record. It's pretty. The NFL, you can do that. I mean, college football, it's harder because strength of schedule and who you play. In the NFL, everybody plays the same teams. So you can just simply say the 11 and 6 team is going to be seeded higher than the 10 and 7 team. It's not hard. It's just hard. It's just that they're going to be seeded higher. I would like to see them do that the whole way through. You say that's not on the table anymore, which is disappointing to me because that's what they should do.
I agree. And again, in looking at it, the NFL is the ultimate meritocracy. And so why we allow bad division champions to host first round games, I think it's a mistake. And I understand the Jaguars fans' point of view. The club has never weighed in on it, but yeah, you hear Jaguar fans saying, no, we don't want that to happen because, their situation is they're in a bad division and that rule change might affect them. Well, those things are cyclical. I mean, you might look up in 5 years and the Jaguars are an elite team and the Colts and the Texans are good teams and maybe the Titans. And so, you could be 3 or 4 years away from the AFC South being one of the strongest divisions. It's just the nature of the NFL that tends to be peaks and valleys in every division. So, but the other thing why I would like it to be changed just at the start of the tournament is Week 18 has really become a bore. I mean, there's maybe one good game, maybe two, but so much of the bracket is already filled in because you've usually got in each conference the one terrible division. So normally that division's been won, or maybe they've got to play, but you pretty much know who the 4 seed is going to be. This would unlock that, and so there would be way more teams, good teams, trying to win that final game because if the seeding is open and free, then you could make a huge jump. You're not pigeonholed into, well, we're 2 games back of the Bills, and we know that they're going to be the 2 seed. So the best seed we can get is a 5, no matter what we do. That would go away. And so I think it would make Week 18 more exciting, which would be better for the fans. And I just think it's the right thing. And the college football example is a great example. No one liked having Boise State and Arizona State as 3 and 4 seeds. Right. But the way they did it forced that upon the marketplace. And it didn't. It was a mistake. As it played out, it was a mistake. And the way the NFL does this now is, once they get to the divisional round, if you want to reseed it, that's fine, sure. But I'm with you. I would make it a full tournament and basically say that we're going to seed 1 through 7. And if you won your division, great, you're in. But it does not necessarily guarantee you a home playoff game.
I'll give the NFL credit for this. I do believe this. I think the NFL, and most sports do this, baseball made the extraordinary changes a few years ago with the shift and the pitch clock and whatnot. But I do think the NFL tries to keep its rules fluid enough to keep the game entertaining. I do believe that. And again, the good leagues do that. But I think both of these are going to pass. You think that?
The tush push is interesting because they need 24 and they only had 16. Now they've modified it. So how many of those 8
will come over now?
Yeah. It seems like the insiders believe that they're going to get enough votes to get it overturned and get it to where you cannot assist the runner, which will eliminate the tush push. So I'll say I've got a tepid confidence that they will vote it out.
What about the other one?
The owners just don't normally vote for things like this. So I'll say the tush push, I think, will pass barely because I think the owners will be cognizant of, hey, this was the rule for decades, and then we took it out in 2005. We're just putting back in an old rule of football. I think the playoff, I'll say it fails, but I think eventually it'll pass in another year or two.
I think of all this, man, I think the one thing the league generally does is err on the side of common sense. At some point, if the Chiefs win the division at 14-3 and the Chargers finish second at 13-4, seeding them behind a 9-8 champion, I can't imagine from a common sense standpoint the league would do that. Now, it's been doing it. You say, well, what they did not have common sense 2 years ago? No, I get it. But I just think now that it's on the table.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they've always done it that way.
Always
right?
done it. Always.
Yeah.
Winning a division, as long as they've had divisions, has always trumped everything else. But doesn't make sense. I mean, in that instance, it really doesn't. So we'll see what winds up happening. Let's take a break. Hayes has headlines on the other side, so stay with us.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
In life, only the best things stand the test of time, like radio play-by-play.
I think it's bigger than it seems, and if you're one of these players or one of these coaches, it's the biggest thing in your life.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
On Memorial Day, all of us at Harold and Harold join you and our community to pause and remember the sacrifice that fallen heroes made for this country and honor them for all they have given us. Offices, Jacksonville. An out-of-town lawyer could rent space and say they have an office here, but how does that help you after an accident? Harold and Harold is here for nearly 40 years, and we have the local relationships you need if you've been injured. Call Harold and Harold today. Offices, Jacksonville.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Frank Frangie here. May is Military Appreciation Month, and Nimnik Buick GMC proudly salutes the brave men and women who serve and have served our country. As a thank you, we're offering an additional $500 off select new Buick and GMCs, and every vehicle purchased at Nimnik supports K9s for Warriors. Nimnik thanks you for your service and your sacrifice. Shop 24/7 online at NimnikBuickGMC.com. Value your trade and customize your payment options in seconds. Visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, it only costs for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here for Big Chief Tire. If you need new tires, Big Chief has affordable options to fit every budget and every vehicle. Their team of experts will help you find the right tires and make sure they're installed quickly so you can get back on the road. Don't wait. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and explore their great tire deals. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
This is Greg McGarity, President and CEO of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. I'm here to share that the Gator Bowl is actually a year-round organization. We're known for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl football game, which has been a Jacksonville staple for more than 80 years. Off the football field, the Gator Bowl is also host to the annual Florida State baseball game, a champion of local youth through Gator Bowl charities, and a strong networking organization of local individuals and companies through our membership. We're actually looking to grow membership, which is an affordable, fun way for you to get involved and give back to our community. To learn more, visit GatorBowl.com for more information.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. You can call our friends at Harrell & Harrell at 251-1111. They'll take great care of you. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva here. I am Hayes Carline. We're going to start it with the Jaguars, Frank. Trevor Lawrence spoke to reporters yesterday after the OTA that we were able to watch, and we covered a lot of ground yesterday, but one thing we didn't get to is Trevor Lawrence talking about the difference in Brian Thomas Jr. from his rookie year to now.
Obviously, the talent's always been there, but the confidence, obviously, off the year he had and what he's done. Now he has a full year under his belt where, he's one of the top receivers in the league. I think my confidence in him, seeing him do his thing for a year now, and just you get that one-on-one, you feel really confident about our guy. So just a lot of confidence in him. He's smart. He's picking up. It's another system he's learning. It's 2 years in, 2 systems, and just been impressed by how he carries himself. The work he puts in, you can tell he studies because he comes in here, he knows his stuff. It's not an easy system to learn, and he's done a really, really nice job.
Yeah, I think they're going to see that all the way around, Hayes. I think there's a belief that, again, culture, work ethics, chemistry, that part, I really do get a good feeling about that. I really do.
Brian Thomas Jr. might have an extraordinary second year.
Especially
now that there's a guy on the other side that you got to pay attention to.
Or maybe two.
And
or maybe two guys on the other side you have to pay. That's the thing. I keep saying it. do not, from what I'm being told, what
Frank loves Diami Brown.
I'm telling
he
you,
does.
I do.
I'm ready for this guy.
I am too. I think he might be really good, man. We'll see.
Yeah, and you got an innovative young offensive mind. So Brian Thomas Jr., boy, the expectations there are going to be sky high for to exceed what was extraordinary production last season. Let's get into around the NFL. We talked about the tush push ban. We talked about the seating change possibility at the owners' meetings. We'll see. I think tomorrow we'll find out more about that. One thing the owners did do today, Frank, is they are going to allow players to compete in the 2028 Olympics in flag football. So I think that's going to be extraordinary.
Yeah, I like our chances.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to get by the Portugal game.
Yeah.
And I think once you get that, it's us versus Lithuania, and I like it. How can anybody compete with it? I mean, joking aside, if we are able to compete in flag football, I can't, even though there will be people that played football in America popping up on other teams because of some connection, I can't imagine that would be, isn't this, if anyone pays attention, isn't this the dream team all over again?
Absolutely.
I mean, isn't that what it's going to look like?
Are they going to have NFL players?
Yeah.
No, that's the discussion.
They're going to be able to do it. The teams they've been guaranteed salary cap relief if there is an injury. So that's a caveat the owners wanted to have in there. So if a player does suffer an injury, the team will not be penalized from a cap standpoint. It's a 5-on-5 game.
This might be worse than the dream team.
We probably can't do it.
It might be worse.
It might be worse than the dream team. I mean, there's early indications Mahomes wants to do it. I think they're only going to allow one player off of every team to do this. So
flag football.
Is that the word?
That's the word that I'm hearing. Is there only be one representative max from every team. So that's really interesting. It's going to be hard for us to do it in headlines, but maybe down the road we can go pick our five.
Isn't Travis Hunter the perfect?
Who we would with that caveat, you can only have one guy on every team.
Right.
What would be the best American
squad? That'll be very
squad?
Interesting if it's that.
I mean, Travis Hunter would be the perfect player.
Because I don't like.
He will be I guarantee you, if he's a star, Travis Hunter is going to be a gold medalist by 2028. Because how would he not be on that team?
Right.
So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll see. Get it to college basketball. Big day for Todd Golden. It's really a huge week. They're going to the White House tomorrow to celebrate the national championship. But today, Todd Golden adds maybe the most impactful portal player in the country, Boogie Fland, who just completed his freshman year at Arkansas, went into the NBA draft, was projected to be a mid-second rounder, elected to go back to school but attend a different one. Chose the Florida Gators today, Frank. 15 points a game and 6 assists prior to a hand injury last year that cost him 2 months. But exactly the explosive scorer the Gators need.
And this is the one that put them back on the map. They were on the map. They won the damn national title, but then he kind of fell off the map. This is the one that now has everybody saying, watch out for the Gators. So, and now the question becomes, okay, last year they won a national championship, that great front court, but they won a national championship with Clayton, Richard, Martin. Now with Boogie Fland in the fold, the question is, will Xavier Lee, Boogie Fland, and A.J. Brown be the equivalent of Clayton, Martin, and Richard? You say, well, there's no way they could be the same. Well, they can't be the same, but they're very similar. From a skill set standpoint, there's a lot of similarities.
Without a doubt, the NBA gets cranked back up tonight. Timberwolves versus Thunder at 8:30 as the Western Conference Final gets underway. Who do you guys like in this series, and how do you think it goes tonight?
JJ, go first.
I think Oklahoma City wins tonight, just because they just played. I think there's going to be a little rust factor with the Wolves. It's been almost a week since they've played, but I'm going to make a crazy prediction. I actually think the Timberwolves win in 7. I don't know why. I really think that Oklahoma City struggled to beat not a great Denver team last round. So I'm going with the Wolves. I do not feel strongly about it.
I'll go the other way. I think Oklahoma City is the best team for a reason. But I get it. The T-Wolves have played great. This will be a very good series. I think 6 or 7 games. Anything other than that would be very surprising.
OKC's defense is just so freaking good, man.
In terms of the 4 teams that are left, is there anybody that this is like a massive legacy build? I mean, it feels like all 4 of these teams are pretty young.
You're going
right?
to have a new superstar win a ring for the first time, whoever it is.
I think the key in the East is Reggie Miller.
I don't know. Ewing's coming back from an injury.
Unless John Starks gets really hot.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because it's the first Final Four in the NBA I can remember in forever where everybody's pretty much new. I mean,
Right.
to JJ's point, somebody is going to be a world champion for the first time.
Well, the other interesting thing about
in terms of the superstar on the team.
And I do believe this, to that point, we talked about this yesterday, as Steph gets older and LeBron gets older and Giannis is still a wonderful player, but he's a little older than he was. And sure, there's still Luka and Jokic. There's some very good players that are still young guys. But we now have a chance with Steph fading at some point and LeBron fading at some point, and that between Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson and obviously Edwards and obviously Gilgeous-Alexander, that's 4 guys that some of those guys are going to step up.
Oh, yeah.
And become the new LeBron, Steph. They're not going to be that, but you know my point. The next guy. We saw it with Jason Tatum a year ago. We're going to see more of that come. This is the new NBA, and we have 4 guys now that could come to the forefront.
Let's get it to golf. Are you still upset with Rory McIlroy?
Yes, I'm upset with him and you. Okay, so here's what I said. As much as I forgot to bring food today, didn't I? Dang it.
That's all right. We got all
I didn't remember till just now. I am feeling kind of hungry.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow for sure. You got it. Dang, I just realized I forgot to bring food. But you'll have it tomorrow. Well, Scott's honor.
I'll set an alarm.
It sounds like you were
morning.
kind of busy today with some important meetings.
I had a bunch of meetings today.
I think we can give you a mulligan.
Is there anything more important than loser Monday?
No.
We're going to have to move the board meeting.
I will say this. Other than the fact that he screwed me over, your point you made yesterday, at some point with this many great players, when that much attention on you, you're going to have 2 or 3 days where you don't play well. You know what I mean? It's not like Tiger was so much better than everybody in his era. It was never going to happen because he was that much better than everybody. Well, that's not the case with it. Even with Scheffler, it's not the case now.
Yeah.
There's too many of them that are that good that nobody's that much better than everybody like Tiger was 20 years ago.
And Rory getting that huge monkey off his back at the Masters, I just thought, is he going to be that motivated, to come back out there and kill it in the next turn? He's probably drinking and partying the entire 3 weeks he was off.
Right. That's right.
And that's the thing. That's where, the Tiger comparison, he never had to yearn for a championship. I mean, he won pretty much every major.
2000
in
was
the
when
first couple of times he played it. So, I still am optimistic about Rory McIlroy for the final 2 majors of the year and the FedEx Cup. I think it was more of a blip than anything else, but it will be interesting if he doesn't play well at Oakmont.
Yeah.
Then I think it's certainly fair to start wondering, has he lost a lot of his motivation now that he's a Masters champion?
I think there's so many good players now that I think you're going to see swoons from every. Scheffler had a mini swoon by his standards. He dropped to 5th in the world instead of 1st. But no, I think you're going to see some ebbs and flows with all these guys, even Scotty.
Let's get to Major League Baseball. The Phillies won their 4th straight last night to overtake the Mets atop the NL East. By the way, the Braves are just 5 back of Philadelphia.
They're
getting healthy. JJ, what's the optimism level?
Listen, we got the Nats for a few games. They suck. And guess who's on the mound tonight? Spencer Strider's back.
Wow.
He came back earlier and had a hamstring thing, but hopefully he's back for good. And apparently this weekend, Acuna's supposed to be back. So right when the Braves are sort of getting hot, their 2 best players are coming back.
And
great timing.
Yeah, and Strider and Chris Sale at the head of your rotation.
Schwallenbach,
who looks like he's good. Shawver.
Smith-Shawver is only in his early 20s. Great prospect.
Yeah, I think the Braves are going to be. It's a long season, man. We're a long way from that 0-7 to start the season.
It feels like it was last season, honestly.
Frank, you brought us into a little bit of the Pirates world yesterday in terms of chasing bad history.
Chasing a record.
Chasing a record, and they still are. The Pirates score 1 run in a loss to the Reds last night, have not scored 4 or more runs in a game now in 24 consecutive games.
They've scored, you ready for a stat? They've scored 25 runs in their last 13 games.
Wow. Jeez.
Is Will Muschamp running the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Think about that. The record you're talking about, 24 games in a row now. They're 1 off the record of all time. It's a new record. They've had baseball 150 years. 1876 is when they started. I watch them every night. They don't even barrel up balls. They don't even hit anything hard. Their two best players, O'Neill Cruz and Brian Reynolds. They're two, and JJ, you follow baseball. By far, their two best players.
Yeah.
Are hitting 220 and 204.
Oh my God.
That's their best players.
Yeah.
They scored one run in the first last night, and I thought, is the streak going to die? And that was literally the last run of the game.
I was stunned by this looking at the numbers. So the Rockies are having an all-time terrible year. They've only won 8 games this season. But Colorado has scored 13 more runs than Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like the Pirates are last in the bigs in runs scored by 13.
Right.
And the next to last team has won 8 games all year.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. If Pittsburgh has really good for a team that's 15 and 30 or whatever they are.
Pittsburgh has double their wins, basically.
Yeah, has really good starting pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, except Pittsburgh's starting pitching is the equal of the Dodgers, Yankees, Braves.
You guys are probably going to trade Keller, I'm assuming, around the deadline. But you could get a lot for him.
Yeah, they have 3 or 4 starting pitchers who are really good. And by the way, 2 or 3 in the minors. They just got Bubba Chandler's going to come up. Nobody's good at pitchers. They're young pitchers. There's in baseball, but they're too stupid to know who to trade them to and what to get for them. So no, they're terrible. Terrible. I'll be locked in tonight.
They play tonight.
They play the Reds. Yeah.
Prediction. This is my prediction. Tonight they're going to score 6 runs.
Okay. Well, you did it with the Gators. Okay, I watched you do it with the Gators. What I can tell you is they're 0-4 against the Reds.
Okay.
So we're due.
You're due. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to college baseball. Gators versus South Carolina in the first round of the SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama, getting ready to start. Florida swept the Gamecocks in Columbia earlier this season. Really wasn't that long ago. Frank, what's your expectation? What do the Gators need to get out of the SEC tournament, if anything?
I think they're in a regional. I don't think they're going to host one. They'd have to win this thing or do very well in it to win it. They need to. I'd like to see them win 2 or 3 games in it. The interesting thing is they're pitching Billy Barlow. He's their 5th or 6th best pitcher, so he's their Tuesday or Wednesday guy. So.
You think that's because they know they'll just beat South Carolina?
I guess, JJ, because it's really an odd way to go about it. Teams rarely do this, but usually you'll pitch your first guy, number one, to have him back sooner. But Peterson, Coppola, Aiden King, their top 3 starters, none of them pitch in this game, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, if you win twice, maybe 3 times in this tournament, you've secured a 2 seed somewhere. I don't think they're going to host a regional, which would make them a 1 seed. I don't think they're going to host a regional.
Florida State doesn't open ACC tournament play until Thursday as a reward for being the 2 seed. But what are your expectations this week for the Seminoles?
I think it's a really good league. I think North Carolina's really good. I think Clemson's really good. I think Florida State's really good. I'd be surprised if the champion doesn't come from one of those 3 teams. NC State's really good. It's a good league. I mean, it's a really, really good baseball league. And NC State's having the best year they've had in a long time. I think North Carolina's the best team in the league, and I think FSU's right there.
JU got a huge win today, beat North Alabama 5-1 in ASUN tournament play. So the Dolphins now in the double elimination tournament, they're in the winner's bracket, off tomorrow.
Yeah, they're off tomorrow. They got to play Austin Peay now, who beat UNF in the second game today. JU can win that tournament. The only way you get in now is to win it. It could be a 2-bid league. I even wonder if Stetson or Austin Peay go deep. If they both go deep, could one of them, could the second one get in? I think they could, because it's been a 2-bid league before, but it won't be for JU or UNF. JU or UNF would have to win the tournament.
NHL action tonight. Panthers at Carolina in Game 1 of the East Final. Florida going for back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. It's fun to watch. If you're looking for something to, I'll be watching it. My wife's a big Panthers fan.
Yeah, you'll be locked in.
Yeah,
won't you?
we know Pete Prisco will be locked in.
Oh, there's no question.
So anyway, we haven't talked a lot of hockey, but I'm letting you know there is a hockey game tonight if you'd like to watch it.
You give me a little puck. And Carline and Prisco, 2 of the biggest hockey fans I know, are locked in.
That's right.
So, no, I will say this. I don't follow it. But the Florida Panthers, because I know a lot of people in South Florida, my friend Jessica Blaylock, who does the pregame as well.
She does an awesome job. It's always so fun seeing her.
She's really good. She's a really good broadcaster. I mean, she really is. But I know a lot of people that are really excited about it, and good for them. They've brought South Florida, which, look, the Canes haven't been great in a long time. The Dolphins haven't been great in a long time. The Heat have been up and down. The Marlins are as cheap as the Pirates. They've brought some life to the South Florida sports scene that hasn't been there in a long time. They really have.
Yeah, good point. Let's get into pop culture. Sad news today as actor George Wendt passed away at the age of 76. Wendt was best known for playing Norm on Cheers. Oddly enough, the Cheers finale aired on this date 32 years ago. George Wendt, great comedic actor, also was in Fletch, but a great character actor, and we certainly will miss him.
George Wendt, God rest his soul, is Norm. No matter what else, and he was a character actor in a lot of stuff, to your point. He's Norm, though. He's Norm. I mean, Norm's a guy you want to have a beer with. I mean, of all the TV characters that have their roles, the Seinfeld guys all have their roles, the Friends young people all have their roles. But if there's one guy that of all the character actors you want to have a beer with, you want to have a beer with Norm. Yeah. It's a sad day. It really is.
Yeah, our buddy Mark Long texted us. It's somebody on Twitter posted a video, and it's Norm walking into Cheers. Every time he walked into Cheers, it's an 18-minute video.
I'll be darned.
It's the first thing I'm watching when I get home.
That's got to be fantastic.
But yeah, so sad news. George Wendt dies today at the age of 76. Let's get into public health. Wear your sunscreen, kids. I had to have Mohs surgery today on my left ear for a basal cell carcinoma, and they had to go back 4 times to get it all. It is no fun. So wear that sunscreen, particularly if you're young. It'll come back to bite you when you get to be my age, a 48-year-old who doesn't get out in the sun that much anymore, but it doesn't matter because I did 30 years ago, and that's what I'm paying for.
Yeah, you told me that before. You've had some issues with that, and you've had to fight that a little bit. I know that, but you're right. It's a good tip. It is a good tip. The sun damage is real.
Yeah,
no question.
Wear your sunscreen, kiddos, and we will get you out on our musical note of the day. Because on this date, back in 1983, the Police released Every Breath You Take, one of the most haunting songs of the rock era. The biggest song of that year. It was the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks. The Police were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003.
One of the many bands who their lead singer probably better than the band, but wonderful band. Wonderful choice. Absolutely. Well done as always. We'll take a break. Back to wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NBA and the NHL in their conference finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the best bet to win the NBA championship. They are -180. The New York Knicks are +500. The Minnesota Timberwolves are +550. And the Indiana Pacers are +750. While over in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers are the betting favorite to win the Stanley Cup. They are +250. A Canadian team has not won the Cup since 1993. While the Florida Panthers, the defending Cup champions, are +260. The Dallas Stars are +275. The Carolina Hurricanes are +300. And looking ahead to October, the Dodgers are the favorite to win the World Series at +240. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Oh, no. No.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Hey, don't buy a diamond at one of those big box corporate jewelers in the town center until you see what Beard's Diamonds can offer. Hicken here. Beard's Diamonds will give you a better price on a better quality diamond. Beards, they're not beholden to Wall Street. They are beholden to the people of Jacksonville. Why? Because they're the only locally owned jeweler in the town center. Yes, Beards has the best diamond selection in the region. No middleman prices on hand-picked diamonds, all shapes, all sizes. They also have the top bridal designers like Tacori and Viraggio. And here's something else. Unlike the others, Beards doesn't have commissioned salespeople. Their experts get paid whether you buy something or not. So no pressure, ever. Their associates are diamond experts. They'll teach you how to buy a diamond the smart way. We're really lucky to have Beards here as a refreshing alternative. You get it all. No compromises, highest quality, personal service, no middleman pricing, and unbeatable guarantees. Beards Diamonds, the only locally owned jeweler. They're at the St. John's Town Center.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
It's the Gator Podcast Channel with Frank Frangie and me, Dan Hicken, on all things Gators. Hacker and Denny Thompson have Gator Bites, and you can find them wherever you find podcasts or at 1010XL.com. Presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. 1010
Take.
The 1010 Take is sponsored by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. DuckDuckRooter.com Florida got the missing piece now. I now believe with Boogie Fland in the fold, they are more positioned and better positioned to repeat a national championship than they ever could have been. More than they would have been if Denzel Aberdeen had stayed. More than they would have been if they gotten Desmond Claude from USC. This was the guy they needed to get, pairing Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland in that backcourt with the freshmen coming in, with all those front court guys coming back, and I think Condon will too. They're more well-positioned to win a second straight title as they could have been any other way. And that is the 10-10 take.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, we did talk about Boogie Fland. The Gators got the big fish. He's one of the best players in the portal, a 5-star McDonald's All-American back in the day. After 1 year at Arkansas, he's coming to Florida. Reports are north of $2 million for his NIL money, which would be about right, I would imagine. He completes what should be a pretty good starting lineup for the Gators, particularly if Alex Condon comes back. Lee Humphrey was on with us to talk about that, the former great shooting guard from Florida. He now is a coach here. He's building Cornerstone Academy's basketball operation, so he couldn't wait to talk about that. Did a great job. Great having Lee on, and he does a fantastic job on that Gator radio network, and was a terrific shooter. He talked about Boogie Fland and other things that Todd Golden's got going on as well. We talked about the NFL and some new rules coming there, and we talked a little bit about the fact that college football might now have a brand new CEO. It'll be interesting to see the way that whole thing plays out, and that's where we've been on the course of the program. We didn't talk a lot about the CEO, but I do want to get to that as the week goes on. What a change in college football. What a change in that there now will be a college sports commission that will, and if all four conferences said, listen, if we agree to this, every school has to agree to not sue. And if you don't assign an agreement that says this is going to overrule your state law. And if you don't agree to that, you're not in the conference anymore. I don't think that. How do you challenge that legally? The conference can say whatever they want to. What a blockbuster story last night Ross Dellinger broke.
Absolutely. Who would be off the top of your head, some names you'd throw out there to be the inaugural commissioner?
Well, if you read other than me, if you read the story, it doesn't look like it's going to be someone we know their name. I thought it was going to be the Oliver Lux or the Archie Manning or somebody that you knew their name, that was
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that now. So if it's not going to be a name that college football fans know,
would Jeremy Foley have interest in it?
Well, I maybe,
yeah,
but I don't think.
You think it's that kind of more of a AD?
I don't. I think it's a politician, a former governor.
Oh, okay.
I think you're going to look up and it's the guy that was the governor of Oklahoma. I don't know.
Oh no. Right.
Yeah, but I think I think it's the governor of Michigan 20 years ago.
Okay.
Or the head of GE.
I'd much rather be that than a politician.
Yeah, but that's what you know what I mean. I think it's going to be someone from the world of politics, big business. Someone that ran Forbes, I just think I don't sense this is going to be someone from the world of college. That's what the story said.
Yeah,
that it's not going to be someone from the world of college athletics. And I don't know. I don't know that.
They should just go hire Goodell's lieutenant.
Yeah.
And say you're the commissioner of this and turn it into mini NFL.
What they really ought to do is give it to Sankey or one of those guys. One of those really good whoever the really good commissioners are. Because they know how to run college athletics. I mean, it should be, or it could be Saban. It should be a guy like that.
Sankey would be great.
Yeah,
Sankey would be great, and that's what I would think. I would think it would need to be somebody well versed in the trials and tribulations of elite collegiate athletics and the logistics of that.
Yeah, but it was very interesting. The story very clearly said, it is not expected to be a name that college football fans will be familiar with, which I thought was really interesting.
That is really interesting.
So we'll see. But listen, you talk about not only will that change college athletics, but that will really change it in a good way. I mean, that's of all the things that we're tired of and don't like. I like that. That's something I like a lot. I like a lot.
Absolutely.
That we're finally going to have real rules with a real and look, enforcement's been a disaster. It's been a disaster forever. Now there's going to be all kind of controversy because this CEO is going to suspend he's going to look up and he's going to suspend Lane Kiffin you're going to look up Lane Kiffin suspended for 6 games, and it's going to be one of the biggest stories in college football history, or whoever, So I do. I think, but it'll be interesting to see. All right, let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. Near your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Rick, how do you feel about the fact that there's going to be a commissioner of college football?
Should have had one years ago. I think Nick Saban would be great. I'm sure he's not interested. I mean, why? He's making enough money now and doesn't have the pressure on him. But, Tim Brandle's been a weekly guest of mine forever since I got back from Chicago, 19 years now, and he's been saying it probably that long. The NCAA is always complained that they're understaffed and they're underfunded. You need to find a way to govern this. I mean, right now it's completely out of control. I don't think it's going to be that difficult. Just find a way to set a cap for what you're allowed to spend. Take care of the transfer portal. For instance, if you transfer once, you can't transfer again without sitting out a year. Can you make the point that you should not be allowed to transfer within the same conference? I mean, all of these things are a healthy debate, but I think they can all be solved.
Yeah, and look, and to that end, I do sense that it's going to feel like an NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to feel like Major League Baseball,
Well,
don't you think?
Yes,
it's going to feel like, and the ADs will be like the owners' meetings, so I think it's time. We've needed that.
We have needed it. These kids deserve to get paid. I hate the transfer portal rule. I just hate what it's done to the game with football. Again, the difference to me is that for decades and decades, our listeners can appreciate this. You knew your 85-man roster.
That's right.
And you knew where they were from, and you knew that you were losing maybe 14 seniors, and you may lose a junior or two to the NFL, and you knew who was coming up, and there was that excitement about watching these kids get bigger and develop. That's gone now. I mean, the appreciation of winning is still there, but it's not the same knowing that, hey, we're going to lose this wide receiver, but we got this redshirt freshman who's been just knocking it out of the park, and you want to see him get a chance. Nowadays, you're like, I wonder if he goes to another school because they're going to give him more money.
And that was back, and then you had spring games, and you'd watch the redshirt freshman in spring. And
I miss it.
I miss it, too.
I miss it.
Tonight, what are we doing?
We got a lot tonight. A lot on the Jaguars, a lot on the NFL itself with the big owners meetings. Really get underway tomorrow, including that big deal involved with the Jaguars. And, will they readdress the playoff positioning, which would not be good for Jacksonville in the AFC South. So we're going to start with that, but fired up. Looking forward to it.
All right, Rick Ballou goes into the night. That comes up right now. That'll do it for our program. Tomorrow, I promise you got barbecue coming. I won't forget again. Loser Monday, and I'm the loser. That comes up tomorrow. Brett Hastings stops by tomorrow, too. We got all kind of fun stuff to talk to him about. All that comes up on the Wednesday program. We're out of here. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.